Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Oh, there they are, just sleeping. Not much going on over there. That's pretty much what they do a lot of the day. But if you take one from the other, they get really upset. I guess they've known each other since they were puppies. I mean, they're still puppies, but like when they were 1 month, born and 1 month old. Well, I thought it'd be cool to, there's some hearings coming up in the Kohberger case, and it's been so long since we've covered it that it'd be cool to go from, start at even the beginning of when the news came out, etc., and the first press conference. And then we'll just kind of go through all the days up, and then, then they finally arrest Bryan Kohberger. And then after that, we can kind of review. I guess at that point, you go back over the probable cause again, and then you go over, some of the issues. Of course, the issue that they'll be discussing for a couple days coming up is, it's one that they've talked about for a while. The DNA, that's what those court hearings are about. There's a 2-day thing coming up here on, I think, was it 22nd and 23rd, maybe? Something like that. So, let's get going, you guys. Let's see. I'm trying to stream this on Facebook. I don't know if it works. I don't know how they have this thing where you have to set up something, and oh, I guess it is going. I think it is playing right now on my GHI page, so that's kind of cool. I guess. I don't know. Is it? Yeah, it looks like there's one share. Nobody's really watching it, but just wanted to see if that worked. Because it's bullcrap. NH Mountains. All right, hold on. I gotta fix something. The chat's doing some crazy stuff. So hold on. Okay. I think that should do it. Yeah, this thing that you set up, it makes everything yellow every time somebody asks any kind of a question. It just sort of fills up the entire screen. Well, that's because it's on the GHI page. Try. How about this one right here? Go to somebody try this page out right here. I'm just trying it. This thing right here, I guess. And it looks like there is. Let me try that one. Just somebody can, if you can see it sitting there. I mean, I do see it sitting there, and then when I click on set up the live video, it looks like it's already playing. Yeah, I got rid of last night's show. I didn't like it. So it's not really wacky, I just got rid of it. Hey, thanks Cheryl for the buy me a coffee. What do you mean error on the page? What does that mean? Hey, thanks Ducky. No, Georgina, I can't tell. Now it says there's 3 people watching right now, so it somebody must be able to watch it. I wonder if that's my own personal. I don't even know. Man, sometimes I have no idea how Facebook works. Pages, groups, your profile. It's like in August, I think, the trial. Okay, I'm just going to go back in time. Here we go. If I went and found all like the original articles that pop up, might be kind of interesting just to see how that went. 4 people have died in a homicide on the edge of the University of Idaho, briefly putting the campus on lockdown. Remember that? They had the lockdown going on. Hey, thanks, Super Soda. Yeah, I might need
in case you need a Kahlua later.
A Kahlua later. Just might. 4 people have died in a homicide on the edge of the University of Idaho, briefly putting the campus on lockdown. Local officials say only a few details have been released. The incident began at 11:58 a.m. on Sunday when officers were called for an unconscious individual. Remember that whole thing about unconscious? Oh my God, what does that even mean? People made such a huge deal out of that. It was just so wild. Like, what's wrong with you? It's just, all it means is that when it was reported, there's somebody that's not responding or unconscious. They didn't know they were dead yet. On King Road in Moscow, small city which is home to the University of Idaho. Upon arrival, officers discovered 4 individuals who were deceased. Moscow Police Captain Tyson Barrett said in a brief statement, he provided no information about the cause of their deaths. Information will be updated as soon as next of kin is notified, and we have information we can share, Barrett said. The Moscow Police Department gives our heartfelt condolence to family member, friends, and Moscow community. Hey, welcome, Tony Nelson. Wait, is that Tony Nelson from I Dream of Jeannie? Actually, I think that's, I don't know if it's Tony, but I'm not sure what you're talking about, Cindy. Information will be updated as soon as next of kin is notified. The incident prompted a shelter in place for the University campus, which is just across the street from the scene. The order was lifted when it was determined that there was no ongoing threat to the university, although students were advised to remain vigilant. How could there not be an ongoing? I mean, you don't know what the hell's going on. If I was there, I'd just be saying, yeah, everybody, lock your doors, be secure, because we don't know where the killer is. And in fact, later on, the person is arrested, could have killed some other people. Thank you, Kami. All right, so that is all there was in that first article there. And then we move on to this one. Same day. 4 University of Idaho students found dead near campus. This was first put out on the 13th, but it was updated on the 14th.
At this point are unknown. All we knew for several else at this time. Moscow police say they responded.
It's so weird seeing it now because now I've been there twice and it just looks like, it's not confusing.
To the area around noon Sunday after they had reports that someone was unconscious. When officers arrived, they found the 4 victims dead.
Thank you, Death by Chocolate, for the coffee.
Circumstances at this point are unknown. All we knew for several hours was that there was a homicide investigation here, and that was through a vandal alert, a notification sent by U of I to students around 2 asking them to shelter in place. Washington State sent a similar alert to its students a few miles west in Pullman, minus the shelter in place, saying there wasn't a threat to the WSU community. U of I lifted their shelter in place just before 4 p.m., about 2 hours after their first alert, saying Moscow police didn't believe there to be an active threat to the community. There are a lot of questions that still need to be answered with this happening in a neighborhood that's predominantly made up of U of I students. Investigators on scene say they're in for a long night.
So this was a video on the 14th. That must be on the 13th late at night. Authorities on Monday identified the 4 students from the University of Idaho found dead at an off-campus residence. Police in the city of Moscow declined to release additional details surrounding the deaths, which are being classified as part of a homicide case, but said the bodies were found Sunday after officers responded to a call for an unconscious individual. Upon entering the home on King Road, located about a half block from campus, and in a neighborhood where university students and members of Greek organizations reside, Moscow police said they found 4 people dead. Well, thank you, Maxine, for the coffee. All right, let me just show you on a map really quick. I turned off all of the everything, so I'm going to have to sort of eyeball it. My brain, I think it's just like, right? Feels like I'm, here, hold on. I guess I have to turn it back on. It's hard to tell when you don't have the little pins. I have so many pins though, it's ridiculous. All right there. And this is images from January, so see that's where the house was, but it's just dirt. And I was there when they took it down. Filmed it with a drone. Alright, so this is one we normally use, July of 2022, which is just 4 months prior. So this is the house, and the campus is really just kind of this area, right in here. And it's just off the campus. Where was the I just remembered there was that water tower around there. Yeah, so there's a water tower right here, and then Sigma Chi fraternity is right there. You might want to keep that in your mind. And then there's Queen Road right here, and then King Road, and then there's this building here, an apartment complex, and then this driveway goes back here, and this is 1122 King Road right there. Police in the city of Moscow declined to release additional details surrounding the deaths, which are being classified as part of a homicide case, but said the bodies were found Sunday after officers responded to a call for an unconscious individual. Upon entering the home on King Road, located about a half block from campus and in a neighborhood where university students and members of Greek organizations reside, Moscow police said they found 4 dead. They were identified as Ethan Chapin, 20, of Conway, Washington; Madison Mogen, 21, of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho; Xana Kernodle, 20, of Avondale, Arizona; and Kaylee Goncalves, 21, of Rathdrum, Idaho. Police said Monday that they had no suspect in custody, but had no reason to believe there was a continued risk of the community based on information gathered during the preliminary investigation. I don't know what you could have gathered at that scene to make it seem like nobody, Still, the discovery of 4 dead students has rattled the school and surrounding community and came as another incident across the country involving 3 slain students at the University of Virginia sparked a manhunt for the gunman. On Sunday evening, the University of Idaho sent an alert asking its community to shelter in place or stay away from campus, as a suspect was not known at this time. Well, that's reasonable there. University of Idaho President Scott Green also wrote an email saying he did not believe there was a continuing threat. Yeah. I'm just going through. I went and found. We're going all the way to the 16th on this show. Okay.
This hour, we are tracking breaking news. Just a moment ago, Moscow police confirmed 4 people were found dead in a home just steps away from the University of Idaho campus. Right now, we're continuing to work to get more details tonight. We know that students were ordered to shelter in place for a time this afternoon because of the scene's proximity to campus. That order has been lifted. Creme 2 crews traveled down to Moscow as reports came in earlier today. We go now to Janelle Finch, and she was one of the first reporters on scene to talk with police and with neighbors in the area. Janelle.
I've been here in Moscow on scene since about 3 p.m. Since I've been here, I've watched Moscow police cars come in and out of this neighborhood where officials found 4 people dead. Neighbors say they began noticing police cars flood the area around 12 p.m. today.
See, that was 1112 King Road. That's where, right there, actually, there's a surveillance camera that law enforcement apparently collected later.
Around 12 p.m. today, Moscow police say they responded to a call here on King Road for an unconscious individual. Upon further investigation, officials found 4 people dead. While police investigated the scene, the University of Idaho enacted a shelter-in-place alert as university officials reported a homicide near campus. As we've stated, that
probably a sexual motive.
That alert is lifted at this time. Neighbors say most people living in this area are a part of U of I Greek life or are students, but we do not know the identities of those involved or who lives at the residence. Officials are investigating. This is a very much developing situation, and we will continue to stay on the grounds until we have more information to report back to you. Until then, in Moscow, Janelle Finch, Creme 2 News.
Thank you so much, Janelle. And Creme 2 will stay on scene in Moscow throughout tonight, and we'll continue to bring you an update coming up during our 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that was one of the live videos at the time. And when you're watching the show, if you guys want to help support the channel, you can buy the coffee in the upper right-hand corner. You can do the super chats. You can do channel memberships. Also, I've just ordered the new notebooks. So if you send PayPal $30, you get the 80-page notebook with the logo. You get the stress ball. You get a pen. You get a poker chip. And I put it in a package and send it off. All right, so if you can, that would be great. Thank you. All right, that was right there. This is also on the 14th, I think. Yeah, this is the first one on the 14th. Those first three were 13th. Moscow, Idaho. While the investigation into the deaths of 4 University Idaho students over the weekend is ongoing, more is being learned about the victims after the school and Moscow police released their identities Monday morning. Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were found dead on November 13th in a home south of the university near the intersection of Blake Avenue and King Road. Yeah, it's more by King and Queen. I mean, I'm not even sure where Blake Avenue is. What are you talking about? No, way over here. That's ridiculous. I mean, just put Queen Road and King Road, and you're right there. Not sure why you mentioned Blake. It's I mean, if anything, Linda Lane's right there. You could mention that one. Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle were found dead on November 13th in a home south of University near the intersection of Blake, whatever. Goncalves was 21 years old and grew up in Rathdrum, Idaho. A release from the University of Idaho said she was a senior majoring in general studies in the College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences and was a member of Alpha Pi sorority. I wonder what general studies is. I mean, that's so vague, it's almost hard to believe. Hey, thanks so much, Ali Cake and Whoev Whatev. That's pretty fun. Whoev Whatev. Right? That's where you're getting that. Mogen from Coeur d'Alene, and also 21-year-old, was a senior marketing major and a member of Pi Beta Phi sorority. Both Mogen and Goncalves attended schools in Coeur d'Alene District. Superintendent Dr. Sean Hawker released a statement on Monday. The loss of our graduates, Madison and Kaylee, is heartbreaking. We wish to convey our condolences to their families and friends, as well as their former classmates and teachers at Lake City High School and other schools they had attended. We join the University of Idaho community in mourning the tragic loss of 4 students. Ethan Chapin was a freshman from Mount Vernon, Washington, and a triplet, according to what his mother told the Seattle Times. It's an unspeakable tragedy, and the pain excruciating. Ethan was literally the greatest kid, friend to all, and smile that could light up any room. Chapin was 20, a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity, and majored in recreation, sport, and tourism management in the University of College Education, Health, and Human Services. Xana Kernodle, also 20, was from Post Falls, Idaho, majored in marketing, and was a member of Pi Beta Phi sorority, according to the university release. The city of Moscow said in their release identifying the victims that Kernodle was from Avondale, Arizona. Kernodle and Mogen worked at the Mad Greek, a local Moscow restaurant. Now, people say it's a vegetarian restaurant, and that's just, they serve vegetarian food there. Okay. Does it make it a vegetarian restaurant? No, it doesn't. Most restaurants have a menu for people that are vegetarians. Xana and Maddie had been servers here for several years and brought so much joy to our restaurant and all those they encountered. Maddie was also the face behind our social media pages. You would be greatly missed. No, I never saw those. Did you guys see any of those? The social media pages? I hadn't seen those. All right. So is your Vicky? You ordered a notebook. Is that one? Is that address correct? That's in the PayPal there. And if you're from the UK and you order a notebook, you have to. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, you have to send in $50 because the shipping to the UK is like 20. I mean, it's ludicrous. I don't know what happened. I mean, hell, they should put it on that same boat that I shipped something to Zozo on, where it took like 9 months on a ship out in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's so put it on that one. I'm sure it'll be cheaper. And I'm not going to be able to send them off right away, like tonight, because I don't have. They've been ordered, and they're. I think the chips have been shipped. I'm not sure about the notebooks, but they shouldn't be here. You know, maybe around 20 something, a week or two. Okay, so that was the first one on the 14th, and then we get the next one here.
Now we do want to get right to some breaking news this morning out of Moscow, as classes are canceled for the University of Idaho today following the deaths of 4 students.
Nicole Hernandez live in Moscow right now. Nicole, you've been there for an hour or so now. What are you hearing from police this morning?
Isn't it trippy to see these videos where, like, this is right away, and they didn't move these cars. Like, these cars that are in this parking lot are the victims' vehicles, you know? They're just still sitting there. I think that Jeep might have been Ethan. I don't know if that was Ethan Chapin's or whose that was, but they're all just sitting there. Creepy.
Tim Channing, what we know right now is that police do still have this house here blocked off with crime tape, investigating here. We have one person also kind of manning the scene, making sure nobody messes with the area. But what we know is yesterday, this house right here is where police found 4 bodies. And later that day, University of Idaho confirmed that they were U of I students there. So take a look at this breakdown here of the timeline that we have of how things happened. About 1 p.m. we heard reports of a murder investigation, or excuse me, homicide investigation near the college campus. An hour later, the school put out an alert on social media. It said Moscow PD is investigating a homicide on King Road. They asked the community to stay away from the area and shelter in place as a precaution. Around 3 in the afternoon, Crime 2 arrived in Moscow. Neighbors said most people living in this area are part of U of I Greek life or are students. At around 5 in the evening, the Moscow Police Department confirmed they've had... And
later on, as we get further down, I mean, I have my own... I've been there, so I have these 360-degree videos, and you can really see how steep everything is. It's not flat at all. Like, as soon as you turn on to... like, you're going like this, and then boom, it just goes uphill, 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 up, really up, and then right back here it goes really uphill. And then it comes around, then it's uphill, and then it goes downhill, 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 all the way to, you know, like that. It's pretty wild. You can't really see it generally just in the videos.
Found 4 people dead, but it wasn't until late that night that they confirmed the victims were students. The University of Idaho also said Moscow police do not think there's any active threat at the moment as they continue their investigation. And again, classes are canceled today for University of Idaho students. They will resume classes tomorrow. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, Crime 2 News.
There you go. No clear answers in deaths of 4 Idaho college students found dead near campus, mayor says. This is NBC News. The mayor of a small Idaho town where 4 college students were found dead said the senseless killing could be blamed on most any scenario. Moscow major art, I don't know if it's Peggy or I'm not sure how to pronounce, or Betty. I don't know how to pronounce Bettge. I gotta be honest. Said a property crime gone wrong, really, or a crime of passion. Were possible examinations in the deaths of University of Idaho student Ethan Chapin, 20, Madison Mogen, 21, Xana Kernodle, 20, and Kaylee Goncalves, 21.
No one would have ever imagined something slightly like this could happen in Moscow, Idaho, in such a small town.
A small college town, usually full of life, students walking to class, until tragedy struck the community Sunday night.
It's been a heavy heart. You can feel it from every person you interact with to the people you walk by.
4 University of Idaho students killed, their bodies found by Moscow police Sunday. It's been called a homicide. The investigation ongoing. Crime scene tape still surrounding the quiet neighborhood.
It's something that is affecting everyone, no matter how close you knew them or not. We're all connected in the Vandal family in one way or another.
Olivia Nemi is a junior at the University of Idaho. She's a member of the student body government. She tells me she knew of the victims.
Everyone has their spot to make this community the way it is, and those 4 had a big part to play in that, and it'll be felt and very missed without their presence here. From not only going to classes and knowing that I'm not going to see some faces that I've ran into before, to everyone else that is still here and has to live with that impact for the rest of their lives.
3 girls and 1 boy gone. 2 of them 20 years old. 2 of them 21.
To know that lives were lost before they basically even started in college is just so heartbreaking to know, and to realize that they were in their 20s. And
who are you talking to, Kayla? I don't know what conversation. It's harder. I can't believe somehow never knew you were actually out there on the site. Who, me? I mean, what are you talking about? I've been there twice, if you're talking about me. I went there to film and I drove all around, and I mean, it's creepy because I drove around exactly during the time frame where, like at night, driving around on the roads where you could see exactly what it looked like in his eyes from the vehicle he was in, as he was doing his loops that we'll find about later. Anyways, a police spokesman did not respond to requests for comment Monday. Patience is needed to allow investigation to proceed in meticulous fashion. That says in a separate statement Monday, Bettge or Betch, anybody know how to pronounce that? Bettge, called the students' killing a tragedy that serves as a sobering reminder that senseless acts of violence can occur anywhere, at any time, and we are not immune from such events here in our community. Today we grieve for those who were lost and those they leave behind, he said. Moscow rural city is roughly 25,000 people. In a memo to students Monday, University President Scott Green said he and his wife were heartbroken. Chapin of Mount Vernon, Washington, was a freshman. I think they're just going to go through their names again. The relationship among some of the students were not clear. In an Instagram post Saturday, Goncalves included an image of her and several friends, including Mogen, and said, "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people." Those are just all their roommates. So I think even Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk was in that picture. All right. And this is also on the 14th. 4 slain University of Idaho students are victims. Officials say all 4 University of Idaho students were found dead inside a home near campus Sunday are considered victims in the case. But police have yet to release the cause of death or other details about the investigation. Police discovered the students' bodies just before noon as they responded to a report of an unconscious person at the home steps away from the Moscow, Idaho campus. The victims were identified as Ethan Chapin, 20-year-old from Conway, Washington, Madison Mogen, 21-year-old from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Xana Kernodle, 20, from Avondale, Arizona, and Kaylee Goncalves, 21, from Rathdrum, Idaho. The Moscow Police Department has labeled the deaths as homicides, but maintains there is not an active risk to the community. University of Idaho President Scott Green said the students were all killed under tragic circumstances, and Moscow Mayor Art Betj, I can't do it, said all 4 of the students were considered victims. The students likely died between 3 and 4 a.m. Well, that's not accurate. But they weren't discovered for hours. The police got there at noon. So if you read something like that, that's where, then the conspiracy people go, oh, see, look, they made it, that's what they thought. That's what they... Instead of just realizing, this is early on, they didn't have all the timing. University canceled class on Monday and said additional security staffers were available to walk students across campus. So they had people helping people walk around. Still, the lack of information about the cause of deaths and the fact that police have said there is no one in custody had many parents worried about campus safety and some students leaving for Thanksgiving early. I'm not sure why my phone keeps going off over and over again. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see.
Mods and freaks.
Let's see. I just got a
well.
text
Been
from
crook for a
somebody.
month, but hope to be back soon. I do hit the like button daily. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Who is this person?
Heart.
Hold on. Gotta block some idiot on Facebook. Alright, let's see. Hey, thanks so much, Ozzy Trisha. Hi, Gray, mods and freaks. Hope you all are doing well. Let's see. Been crook for a month. Oh, that must be an Australian for a month. But hope to be back soon. I do hit the like button daily. Oh, that's very cool. And look at that. You just got 5 more memberships out there to John Wolf, Baked Jordan, stoned out of their mind. Big Bird 420, also stoned. Man, we got a lot of stoners in here. Gigi and Rosie Girl. Gray, that's not very nice. Well, look at their name is 420, and then one's called Baked Jordan. What do you think it means? Whoev and whatev up on the screen there. Come on, you know it, right? Come on. Let's be honest. All right. Well, welcome all the new freaks out there, and thanks so much for that, Ozzy Trisha. Appreciate that. Police discovered the students' bodies just before noon. I think we're down here. The students likely died between 3 and 4. Yeah. In a memo released Monday afternoon, University of Idaho President Scott Green urged university employees to be empathetic and flexible and work with students who decided to leave class to spend time with their families. The police said anyone with information should contact the department and ask that people respect the privacy of victims, families, and friends. Brian Nickerson, the fire chief of the Moscow Volunteer Fire and EMS Department, said police were the first to arrive at the home. Said police were the first. Yeah, I mean of the, government workers, right? But there was people there. The first responders from the fire and EMS department didn't go inside or transport anyone from the scene. The city of Moscow is a close-knit college town. nestled in the rolling hills of north central Idaho. Alright, the next is repeated stuff. Alright, so I got that. And yeah, police identify 4 University of Idaho students. I think that looks kind of... Let's see. Police did not address how the 4 University of Idaho students died at the time. At this time, police are not releasing the cause and manner of death. The Latah County Coroner's Office did not respond to the statement's request for information. Mogen was a senior and majoring in marketing. Chapin was a freshman majoring in recreation. Idaho Vandal football coach Jason Eck and University Associate Athletic Director Jarek Walcott still held regularly scheduled Monday press conference. Goncalves was also a senior, and then where's Xana? I don't see her name just right there, but okay, police responded just before noon Pacific time Sunday to report of a unconscious individual in the 1100 block of King Road in Moscow. I'd love to hear the 911 call, by the way. Dollinger told the Statesman he was unable at this time to release who called 911 dispatch with the report. The Moscow Fire Department also responded to the home located just off the UI campus. Fire Chief Bryan Nickerson told Statesman. He said a crew was sent to the residence on a medical call also just before noon Sunday. His volunteer department sent an ambulance and a fire engine, which he said is standard for such calls, but none of his team entered the home. They must have realized everybody was dead immediately and knew it was a crime scene. Let's see. Okay. I was just reading something from a person that looks up information about the site that we use. Hey, Colette Jones and Naomi and Stacy and Allie Cake and Gigi and Supa Soda and Stacy Pittman and Missy Six and Vicky White and Ozzy Trisha and Linda Howell and Jessica Schubach, Gigi, Rosie Girl, etc. Yeah, so police have yet to allow anyone from the property management firm that oversees the residence to enter the rental. They are asking us to stand by pending the investigation, which is still open and ongoing. We are terribly concerned for our tenants and their families, McClanahan said. We're grieving along with them. I mean, isn't that crazy? Like, people started looking up the landowners, and it's just these... I don't know, man. I mean, just... I always have these flashbacks to the time when this happened. You know, in the sea of craziness, at least you guys had the island of sanity here where you could come to, and we worked through the case. And now we're just starting over again to sort of get that feel of like how it was. I mean, think how crazy this case is, really, when you just kind of sit back and just think about it. I mean, it's nuts. There's hardly anything like these. They're rare. Thank you, Richard Watts. Let's see. A listing on apartments.com updated 2 weeks ago detailed a 6-bedroom, 3-bathroom house for rent at $2,495 per month. This listing described the home as one of the top campus housing options available. All right. So look at, I actually found, I remember went back and I just randomly stumbled upon, I think it's this one right here. I found the other one too, where that guy did a animation through there. But like, this is the apartment, right? So I've made a whole 3D model of this. You know, it doesn't look exactly like this, but it's really good representation of everything. You know, so that stairway right there, that's, if you go downstairs and take a right, that's outside the front of the house. So downstairs below this is, there's no relevance in the case to the first floor. And then here it is at the top. As you come up those stairs, you're right there. And that's the living room. There's a couch over here. There's a TV here. Then that room right there is Madison Mogen's bedroom. And there's a little tiny step down right there. And that goes into Madison Mogen's bedroom. And then there's stairs that go up to the 3rd floor. So right through this hall to the left. Oh, you can't see that on the screen. Hold on. Yeah, so this little hall right there to the left, that's also where this is. So that wall, that corner right here is right there. Okay. And then that's the kitchen. So the kitchen, if you go out down this little step and take a right, it goes to the kitchen. And that's where you would come from, right through here if you came from that direction. So there's the kitchen. I think this might be Madison Mogen's bedroom here. Or this one I think is Kaylee Goncalves. That's probably Madison Mogen's. Yeah, because of the way the door is, that's Madison Mogen. That's Kaylee Goncalves. Those are both on the 2nd floor. That's also Kaylee Goncalves' bedroom. And look at that sort of ominous shot too. Because I don't know if you can see it, but see there's a grill of a vehicle back there. So it does show that even in her room people could see through. However, the view into this room is straight on right from the parking spot, and that's Madison Mogen's bedroom. And I think, yeah, what room is that? Yeah, that's Dylan Mortensen's bedroom. That one is. This one's down. Yeah, I can't tell where that is. Oh no, is that that's Xana Kernodle's room? Yeah, that's the hallway that comes right into there. Interesting. Yeah, 2nd floor. This is probably Dylan Mortensen, since you can see out the back to the retaining, and that's the bank that goes up to the parking spot. This is downstairs, I believe, on the basement level. Yeah, and then there's the stairs. You know those stairs I was just showing you a minute ago? Those go up right there, upstairs. And I have a whole 3D model of it. I'll break out later. Maybe not today, but... And that's right outside the kitchen. There's a sliding glass door. So the killer probably came in from off to the left here, down an embankment, and then went through the sliding glass door there. All right. Well, anyways, Moscow Mayor Art Reg said that only limited information could be shared with the public about the student's death without jeopardizing the integrity of the investigation being conducted by the city police department. All right, so I'm just going to get rid of that one. And now we're got 2 more on the 14th. I think we're on the 14th. Right, 14th. Yeah, this is the next one. I'm just trying to see what all was being said back then. So this is the Idaho Statesman. This one's probably got, I would think, would have the best information. Details remain scant, but police said they were searching for a suspect after finding 4 University of Idaho students dead at a home just off campus in what a police official characterized as 4 murders. And then we go, Moscow Police Captain Anthony Dollinger declined to say whether he would describe the deaths as violent, but reaffirmed that each of the deceased students was considered a victim. None of the 4 students was believed responsible for the deaths that have torn a sudden hole in the college-focused North Idaho city, he said. Hey, thanks, Monica Reeves. Man, these Aussies are representing all the time in here. Thank you. Mayor Art Bett revealed a phone interview that the crime happened, or in a phone interview, the crime happened between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. That's the mayor. He was wrong. The murders happened, I believe, at about, I'm certain the murders happened between 4:09 and 4:18, okay? I'm certain the murders happened inside of that window. I have no doubt at all. Ethan Chapin, 20, of Mount Vernon, Washington, was one of the victims. His mother, Stacy Chapin, told the Statesman in a Facebook message that a friend found the bodies. So a friend found the bodies. The other 3 victims were identified Monday as Madison Mogen, 21, Kaylee Goncalves, 21, and Xana Kernodle, 20. The New York Times reported Monday that a local official called the homicides a crime of passion. No, they said, I think that kind of murder is a crime of passion, you know. So, I don't know if anybody said it yet. I think they said it could have been. In a later conversation, the mayor told the Idaho Statesman that when he used the descriptor to the Times, he's simply suggesting a crime of passion as one potential scenario. It could be any number of things, the mayor said. The police don't know yet. I haven't been told. The mayor said the police conclusion that there was no threat to other people in Moscow derived from what police know about the crime scene itself and the way the crime scene appeared, the mayor said. They ascertained that there's no other threat to the community, he said. I would say it was just a crime focused on this location. Yeah, my opinion, you guys, is that Madison Mogen, I'm like 95% sure that she was the target in this case. Kaylee wasn't supposed to be there. Ethan Chapin wasn't supposed to be there. Xana Kernodle was supposed to be asleep, just like Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. And Madison Mogen was going to be his target in the middle of the night. And that's it. I think it's really clear. All right, several neighbors in the vicinity of the home and within several clustered apartment units nearby declined to answer questions from a Statesman reporter. I guess it says that around 4:30 p.m. Monday, a pair of police cruisers sat parked outside the location. That's about the time they went in, the main investigators. Jackson LeBeau was out for the evening walk. He said he lives in an apartment complex off Queen Road, right next to the home where the 4 students died, but doesn't attend the college. A police officer previously knocked on LeBeau's door to see whether he heard anything the morning of the deadly incident, now making national headlines, he said. LeBeau was at home early Sunday morning, but he told the Statesman the same thing he told police. He didn't know anything. The morning of the deadly, he didn't know anything. He felt for his neighbors and his community regardless. Nothing in life is promised, LeBeau said. It sucks that 4 people died. Yeah, well, it does. Obviously.
North Idaho, where 4 University of Idaho students were found dead in an off-campus house yesterday morning. Today, both the university and police identified the students who were killed. 3 of them are from Idaho. News Channel 7's Andrew Bartline and photographer Troy Colson made their way up to Moscow today. Andrew is now live at the scene. So, Andrew, what can you tell us since you've arrived there?
Well, first off, we'll set the scene for where we are on campus. It's kind of the corner of Queen and King. If you're not familiar with their roads, I mean, it's just kind of off the campus, kind of near one of those Greek row sections as it's sort of broken into 2 here up at the university.
Hey, Birdie, thanks for the coffee. Also to, I think it was, so we got Vicky and Patrick purchased the notebooks. So thank you.
University of Idaho, pretty close to that water tower. We talked with the Moscow mayor, Art Bedke. He tells us that it's just the start of an investigation. He tells us that this scene is complex.
You know, like this interview with this guy is interesting. You know why? Just because look in the background there. I mean, you can see right into those. That's this room right here had 2 people dead on the floor in it. This light right here is a bathroom. But that, look how you can see into that room there. Man, that's crazy. That's Xana Kernodle's room right there.
Troy Colson made their way up to Moscow today. Andrew is now live at the scene. So, Andrew, what can you tell us since you've arrived there?
Well, first off, we'll set the scene for where we are on campus. It's kind of the corner of Queen and King. If you're not familiar with their roads, I mean, it's...
I mean, look at that. I don't know what that is. Is it a computer, maybe? See a light on a desk?
It's just kind of off the campus, kind of near one of those Greek row sections as it's sort of broken into 2 here up at the University of Idaho, pretty close to that.
He's the same reporter that apparently in one of his videos, there's a car that looks like a white Elantra driving by up there. I don't know what day that video was taken, but...
At water tower. We talked with the Moscow mayor, Art Bedke. He tells us that it's just the start of an investigation. He tells us that this scene is complex. It's going to take time to work through. He said the Idaho State Police is going to be bringing up a mobile unit to the area as well. State Police scene is complex. It's going to take time to work through. He said the Idaho State Police is going to be bringing up a mobile unit to the area as well to sort of sort through this more complex crime scene, he says. He says there's no ongoing threat at the time. Wanted to make that clear and echo what we've heard from police, but there is no suspect. There's nobody in custody right now in relation to this. Now, this quote that's going around, a crime of passion.
I didn't hear it. How was it pronounced? I missed it. I guess I have to read it.
University of Idaho, pretty close to that water tower. We talked with the Moscow mayor, Art Bedke. He tells us that it's...
Bedke. Bedke. All right.
Just the start of students dead. That they were found around noon yesterday. It is a homicide investigation, and now the names are known to us. It's Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Kaylee Goncalves. And we talked with a neighbor who lives right next door to them. She said she knew nothing the night of, but police cars the day after sort of woke them up around noon. And now she says her and all of her roommates and people on this block are going home early for Thanksgiving break.
A lot of people left last night, and then we were like, I know we were like one of the only ones who actually stayed here last night. My mom has called me.
Roommates and people on this block are going home early for Thanksgiving break.
A lot of people left.
So this is a good representation if you want to visualize something. So if you look at this picture right here, that's the house right here, and that wall right there is Xana Kernodle's. I always forget. Is it Xana Kernodle, or is it Xana Kernodle, or is it Xana? You know, I think I was right the first time. Xana Kernodle, right? Or is it Kernodle? A is for Kernodle. B Kernodle. Which one is it? Hers is the only one I have problems with. People always correct me, and then I remember, and then I forget months later. So it's Kernodle. Okay. And then it's Kernodle, and then is it Xana or Xana? So A, Xana. Okay, A, Xana, and then B. Hell, I don't remember what B is. Is there two different ones? Yeah, Xana or Xana. Okay, so Xana Kernodle. Okay, right? All right, Xana Kernodle. That's what I thought. I think that's how I've been saying it the whole time. Okay. But see, look how interesting that is, because this wall right here, just a few feet to the left, is the surveillance camera that picked up audio that we'll hear about in future episode way down the line. But just keep this in mind. Look how close that wall is. So of course audio could come through over here and be picked up coming out of that bedroom. It's right there.
Last night, and then we were like, I know we were like the only, like one of the only ones who like actually stayed here last night. My mom has called me every single hour for like since like 7 a.m.
And that's actually perfect right there. I might even just save this shot right here. Look at that. How perfect is that? That's awesome. So that shot, that right there is Xana's wall, and that's the surveillance camera that picked up the audio. Awesome. Of course, we don't know about that yet. I'm just, if I see something that'll be interesting for later, might as well hold it. And if you're just joining in, if you want to help support the channel, we've got the Buy Me a Coffees. We got the Super Chats. You can become a channel member. I just ordered my new notebooks. It's going to be the GHI logo with the thumbprint and everything on the front. 80 pages. You get a pen, two different pens actually, and then a stress ball. When when I'm stressing you out, you can pretend it's my face. Then also a GHI poker chip. It's kind of a cool little, you can just kind of keep it in your pocket, or if you golf, you can use it as a ball marker, something like that. I showed him yesterday on the show, but that show's not in existence anymore.
Morning. So yeah, they want me to come home if I don't feel safe. They just said come home, like a week worth of school isn't worth it, like if you're just gonna be scared every night. So it was just like every little noise I was like, is someone in the house? Like I don't know. And it was just scary. Like it's all just shocking and scary. Like I never would have thought that this would have happened here.
Yeah.
The university canceled classes today. Classes are scheduled to resume tomorrow, but as we mentioned, a handful of students are leaving early. And actually the scene right now, if you want to take us back, you can see that a car is actually now driving in onto the property. This is a Moscow police car. There's already one police car on the property right now, so that would make it.
No, I have. I just haven't covered it for so long, Jacob. That's why I was asking. I haven't covered it for probably, I don't know. Like when I say her name, I say Xana Kernodle, right? But then I was thinking, wait, is it Kernodle? Because I haven't covered it every week. And who cares, Jacob? My God, man. Why don't you go troll somewhere else? Jesus. I mean, 5 comments in a row.
That other car has been there since we got here earlier today. That was around, I believe, 4 o'clock Mountain Time. So there's a couple moving pieces right now, and it looks like there might be another car. And it does, no, never mind, I take that back. That is a residential car nonetheless. But we're going to stay on top of this. We're going to have more for you at the news at 10, more of our conversation with the mayor and from the people who live in this neighborhood.
Yeah. So there we go, we got that. And now we're on to the 15th here. I just wanted to make sure. Forest Lane University of Idaho students were slaughtered with knife in targeted attack. The 4 University of Idaho students who were found dead at an off-campus, so on the 15th, people were told that a knife was used, who were found dead at an off-campus Sunday were butchered, what does it say, at an off-campus home Sunday, were butchered with a knife in what police are now investigating as targeted murders, officials said. Yeah, there was a time where I used to think that they went there to kill every single, person in the house. And then it just got too messy and loud, so he left Dylan and Bethany alive. But then, now I just think he was targeting Madison Mogen. It just kind of makes sense to me. We certainly have a crime here, so we're looking for a suspect, Moscow Police Captain Anthony Dollinger told the Idaho Statesman. In a press release offering an update to the probe, police said that while no weapons have been recovered, based on preliminary information, investigators believe that an edged weapon such as a knife was used. Investigators were trying to establish a timeline to create the victim's activities Saturday night and early Sunday morning, following all leads and identifying persons of interest. Police identified the victims Monday as Ethan Chapin, 20, Madison Mogen, 21, Xana Kernodle, 20, and Kaylee Goncalves, 21. The college kids were found dead at the house off campus just before noon Sunday, but Moscow Mayor Art Bedgy, is that right? said the crime was committed between 3 and 4 a.m. that morning, which is not correct. Ethan Chapin's mother, he wasn't even there yet. He was still driving around. Ethan Chapin's mother, Sarah Chapin, told the news outlet that a friend discovered the bodies inside the home on King Road and called 911. Latah County Coroner Kathy Mabbitt said autopsies would be conducted Wednesday, but he ruled out that it was a murder-suicide. In an interview with the New York Times, Bedgy described the killings as a crime of passion, but he later told the Statesman that it was just one possible scenario and that police don't know yet. The mayor also said law enforcement officials have told him that there was no active threat to the community based on the crime scene. I wonder, who can I be mean to? How about I be mean to Cindy, and then you can toss me in prison? I haven't been in jail in a long time, you guys. I just realized that. Have I been that nice in here? I live 30 miles away from... That's a long ways, man. Thank God you live that far away there, Melody. Jeez. Wow. That's a hell of a long ways away. Yeah, thank God, huh? The mayor also said law enforcement officials have told him that there was no active threat to the community based on the crime scene. There's Ethan and Xana. I would say it was just a crime focused on this one location. The police... Oh, look at that. I had to have been mean to somebody. Right, Jessica? All right. Well, what happens now? I'm now in prison. I think I should throw you guys in there for those last 4 days. We'll have to throw you in prison. But will Gray even make it out of prison at this point? That's the scary part. Yeah, I've been there. I went to the crime scene and everything, Melody. I live really close too, about 300 miles, but man, it's... All right, well, who the hell's going to bail me out of prison this time? We just never know. Well, there's $2 of bail. That's probably enough to make a down payment on the bail, I guess. Are in our rivers. Yeah, we've gone over all that stuff. There's 15 minutes of missing time that I identified. I'm the YouTuber who actually identify... Yeah, I mean, Zozo lives the closest to the crime scene of anyone. If you went directly around the Earth and she could somehow, through a wormhole, go right through the planet, she'd be there in seconds. Okay. Hey, look, I got some ramen from Alley Cake. Partial bail from Jessica Schubach. We got KR and got commissary. Don't know what KR's was for. So we're still just languishing here in prison at this point. Let's see. How are we getting out of prison tonight? How is that happening? I mean, based on how things have been, I feel like I've got a long-term prison sentence. Long-term. I'm sure I did something bad, Cindy. He took like a count. Oh, and Super Soda bought me a Snickers, my favorite candy bar. Yeah, it could be a life sentence. So the way things have been, I literally could be in here for the rest of my life. Okay. Yeah. You know what are pretty good are Snickers ice cream bars. By the way, I've got some stuff coming up right now. You know, so we've got the interview with the coroner and the first press conference. That's all tonight. Hey, look at that. Jessica Schubach, a bit more bail. And then Georgina Stoliker bought me a pie. What the hell? How's that help me? I don't even get out of prison with a pie. Yeah. That's right. Free gray, free gray, free gray, free gray, free gray. That's right. I've already gained weight, you know, from eating. You know, when you get this through the holidays, get a fresh confession. Yeah, while I'm in there? Sure. I could try that. I think we're 11 short of getting bailed out. Let's see. With your experience and knowledge, do you think they will disallow that? No, I do not. If they disallow the DNA, then the judge's brain was malfunctioning. There is no case on the DNA whatsoever. And they're going to have that hearings coming up here in the next couple of days. But anyways, I'll just make that good enough to get me out. Oh, look at it. I got a strip search. That still doesn't help get me out. Now, okay, now I've taken off all my clothes, and now I'm sitting over here, and now I have a hard time getting out. Alley Cake with the bail. Hey, I think now it's 5 short of getting out of a legit jail sentence here. That'd be pretty sweet. Who's gonna get me? Who's gonna make the effort and bail me out, Cindy? Yeah, there. Look at. Here's the thing, everybody. DNA is, when you do genetic genealogy, it's merely a lead. Who cares how the lead got there? It doesn't matter. It's merely a lead that the investigators have to double check and see if it's accurate. Much like if a psychic had come forward, or a one of those informants. You know, it's something they have to check. So then, what happened in the Kohberger case is, hey, thanks, Super Soda and Ria Mazzarone, Cake with a file. Oh, and then look at that. And then Vicky put a file in there too. So now I have 3, I think. Okay, now I have a pie with a file in it and a cake with a file in it. And thanks, Vicky White and Karen Messenger. All right, well, we'll get out of prison now. There we go. Thank you, guys. Like I told my son, you get arrested, don't call me. Okay, well, I'll definitely won't do that. All right, so let me tell you about the DNA thing. I know we have a special guest that comes on here named Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick. She's basically the world's leader in genetic genealogy, forensic genetic genealogy. She's the founder of it, and she's one of the. We give a lot of money to the, or we had been giving a lot of money to the Identifiers International. Almost 100,000 so far, where they're identifying Jane and John Does, and basically all they do is they get DNA and they see whose DNA it is, and they inform authorities, we think this is whose DNA it is. Then law enforcement, in the Kohberger case, after, we'll find out later, days from now, where a DNA was found on the underside of the button of the knife sheath. Now, there's different theories on that. My theory is that he left the knife sheath as a calling card, and he meant to clean the whole thing, but he missed a little spot on the back of the snap. That's just a calling card, but then I have another theory where he left it accidentally, and it sort of works with the Xana Kernodle situation, with her hearing somebody. But anyways, they found DNA on there. Then a genealogist will determine a lead, and they gave him a lead, and it was Bryan Kohberger. Then they went and gathered DNA from the house. They followed Kohberger back. They collected DNA out of the garbage can, and they only were able to find through DNA the biological father of Bryan Kohberger. But that was enough to arrest Bryan Kohberger, because just odds-wise, it's, it led to Bryan Kohberger, and then his dad's DNA is in there. So then once you arrest Bryan Kohberger, you swab his cheek, and then you compare it to the original sample that was on the knife sheath. And when they did that, it was a 1-to-1 match. Okay? So that's it. There isn't some... So even if they use some weird technique to get the name, etc., I don't know what you're talking about, Zozo. I have no idea what you're talking about. Kami sent reporter vid with white car in background if you didn't see. I don't know what that means. You mean over here, or what are you talking about? I have no idea what you guys are saying. I'm sorry. Yeah. So let's just go through this. Is this the 15th? Yeah, I think we're on that one. Yeah, I mentioned it. Where are you talking about, though? In this video, on here, right here, it's got that? Or what are you referring to? Well, what you wrote doesn't make sense, though, Zozo. Okay? Neither did what Kami's saying. Hey, Kami sent reporter video. Oh, I thought you were saying on the screen. You were saying she sent me one. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's weird. I tried to find that. What date is that? Oh, that was the 14th. Huh. I thought it was the one with there was a guy in the video, though.
And I turned on Big Rock to try and wear on her colors. We still might magazine the stories
about just your
me everyone thought I was going to die.
You're saying this video right here has the
look at her story. I thought I was going to die. I was praying to God.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. Maybe I got clicked on it. Okay.
Now to North Idaho, where 4 University of Idaho.
Oh yeah, there it is. Huh.
Seeing and hearing now here live in Moscow.
So that's the 14th. That's so weird. I even went to KTVB 7, and I went through all of the days back to that date, and couldn't see it. Could not find this particular clip. I was looking for it because I thought it was earlier in the day on the 14th. So thank you there, Kami. There it is. I guess you couldn't write it better than that. I thought you were saying it was up on the screen.
found dead in an off-campus house yesterday morning. Today, both the university and police identified the students who were killed. 3 of them are from Idaho.
Kind of getting our bearings here. Well, Doug, we'll start by kind of getting our bearings.
So like this right here, his head is his feet are probably 10 feet higher than it is down there. He's way, look at, you can see it kind of over here even. Everybody here is on a really steep hill.
Here, this is the corner of King and Queen in Moscow. Now, if our photojournalist Troy wants to pan for a second in this direction, you can see the water tower. That's kind of where the heart of campus is here at the U of I. So this is just adjacent to it. Now, this is the house where this has happened. It's all blocked off.
I think it's going to be up here.
Off with police tape. We can see there's one Moscow police car over.
Here, let me throw this in my, before you keep
over in the corner, kind of near the end of the house there. And
just a second. Yeah, it shouldn't matter at all, Zozo. That's why, but the thing is, if you want a killer to be free, people will try to come up with any reasonable thing. Like, see, the thing is, the people that are out there defending Kohberger are looking for a technicality, just like they were in the, like a technicality that's all it is. It isn't a piece of information that makes them, it's not exculpatory. It's just you're looking for a technicality to make it a problem, just like they did in the Delphi case. So you got to wonder about these people who like to try to free killers. You know, it's really a strange phenomenon. I just want to make sure I'm putting this in the right spot. Working on... I think what we could do is I can open up Adobe Premiere. Let me just download this thing really quick. Hold on. All right, so I'm downloading the video. I think. All right, now I am. And then what we'll do is we'll open up Adobe Premiere. Why you guys keep retracting comments? All right. So just a second here. We're going to have... God, it's so weird. I went all the way to that same website because I found out what website, YouTube channel it was on. Went to that particular day, the 14th, and could still only find the nighttime video. So I was frustrated. Somehow it's there, on the 14th. Okay, so, are you just copying them, Cindy? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, I've seen the video before. I even have the video. I have it. I wanted the original that it came from. I'll show you the one I have. All right. I have... this one right here. So I have this little short clip. I think it'll play here in a second. Come on. This guy right here. So I had it. I just don't have the original. All right. So I don't have the original clip, but now I do. So I had that already. So thanks for finding the original so we can take a look at it.
Water tower, that's kind of where the heart of campus is here at the U of I. So this is just adjacent to it. Now this is the house where this has happened. It's all blocked off with police tape. We can see there's one Moscow police car over in the corner, kind of near the end of the house there.
And I went up there too when I went out there.
And there is a Moscow police officer in that car. We've kind of seen him get in and out of his car and float around. But of course, we're not getting a ton of information right now. We do know, as you said, Doug, 4 people dead, all students here at the University of Idaho. It is being investigated as a homicide. This was sort of discovered yesterday around noon when police responded to a call of an unconscious person. When they arrived on scene, they seen that there are 4 students that
I don't know if it's an Elantra. It
are
kind of
dead.
looks like
There's
one.
no suspect at this time. The latest we've heard from Moscow police.
This would be in the same afternoon. Remember how he went there at 9 in the morning? So that would be him going there again in the evening.
They do not believe there's an active threat out to the community either. Now, we have these names and we can release them for you guys right now if we want to throw up a graphic that makes it a little bit easier to digest. It's Ethan Chapin, a 20-year-old from Conway, Washington. Madison Mogen, a 21-year-old from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Xana Kernodle, a 21-year-old from Avondale, Arizona, but we do know that she originally is from Post Falls, Idaho. And then Kaylee Goncalves, 21.
Well, this is the same day that they were found, so... Well, wait a minute. Let's see. Well, no, maybe not, because the 13th is... It would have been in the evening, so it would be the following day in the evening. I think the original video that I had was the 13th. I can't remember now where he was. Hold on, let me move this. So this is the 14th, which would be the following day in the evening. So really this is probably about 24 hours after the police went in there.
Lives right next to this house where this happened. She had no idea that any of this happened the night of. She says that the next day they saw these police cars out and
yeah, so like that vehicle right there, people think maybe, I mean, that is kind of the shape, you know. That is sort of the shape of an Elantra. And that's the road that he knows exactly how to drive on, because he'd been on there multiple times. Yeah, you don't need to give me the time frame. I'll just do it.
6 people live there. They've all since gone home. Her and her last roommate were the last 2 to leave. She says that's the same for all the houses in this block in and around this area of town. These students are going home early for Thanksgiving break after talking with their parents and deciding that that's how they feel most safe and most comfortable. So a lot of people going home early. There is a vigil scheduled for tomorrow at 5 p.m. We know that is confirmed through the university spokesperson, Kyle Fahnensteel. So we'll be on site for that as well and bring you the latest there. In terms of what exactly transpired, what led to this, if it was an act of aggression, if it was violent, not a lot of...
We don't know if he did or not. You know, we don't even know if that's him, you know, or anything. It's just a car that looks like it could be...
Details are getting confirmed right now. We're continuing to push to...
He obviously didn't bring his phone with him because that wasn't mentioned. One thing that is against this being him is that it wasn't mentioned in any of the probable cause document or anything like that.
Ask for these answers.
It could be that he left the phone at home and they just weren't aware.
To find out what exactly transpired to lead to these students' deaths. Doug?
And Andrew, you know, we know that they've said that they no longer need to shelter in place, that kind of alert has been lifted in the sense that there's not a threat to the immediate community. But have you heard anything in your discussions with the police department about a suspect?
Cut.
No, and I think that's the part that makes this most confusing right now. In terms of information we've been able to get confirmed, the police department does not believe that there is a current ongoing threat. People do not.
I mean, that definitely, you know, does look like an Elantra, for sure. Here, let me go to my folder with my Elantra video. This will be good. Well, I have this video right here. That was a good video, wasn't it? Can you guys see that pretty good? The way I'm doing that? How about if I go like this? Yeah, it looks a hell of a lot like it. It does look like an Elantra, you know? Yeah, wow. And thanks for sending me that, Jamie. I mean, look at that. That does look like it's an Elantra. For sure. So, you know, it's like maybe he left his phone at his apartment this time. Interestingly, though, wait a minute. Can this... what time do you think this is from? You know, if we had the time of this, I think it can be debunked either way because, you know, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but... remember how at like 5 o'clock he was over here by Johnson? Because he'd gone all the way down to the Albertsons down in that other town. And so he was over here and his phone pinged and it was like 5:32 to 5:36. So would he be able to get to there? Because that's in the darkness. So does that mean he was all the way over? Because, okay, hold on a second. What? What time? I think we can figure this out here. What time is sunset on November 13th? Hey, thanks, Cindy, and tighten up. We're going around about me and the crew about something we did I was supposed to do. You might not have heard of, maybe you haven't. I first heard of it was like, used to get angry and all uptight. You say what you want to spell my name right. All I'm ever guilty is rocking the house. That's what the rumor was all about. It's being that and tell all your friends, and if you don't wait till you see me again this way, I can hear from the horse's mouth right then and there. We'll straighten it out. Woo! '14th. What time is sunset on November 14th? 2022 in Moscow, Idaho. Give me the okay, 4:15. So that means it's light out in that. So that might be like at 4 o'clock or something, right? That's interesting. A little bit. So let's pull that out again. It was right here. This one. No, not that. Hey, thanks so much, Tighten Up. Appreciate it. And
now to North
Cindy
Idaho.
J. Yeah, what did you say to Adam? I just saw that video today. Okay, now look at that. The sun is almost down. Now notice how it's hitting the side of this tower here. And I would say that would make it probably almost like 4 o'clock right here. It's just about to go down, the sun in this image. Don't you guys agree? Based on the sun, how low it is hitting those trees at the side like that. And you can actually see it, I think, in some of these other shots here. Let's see. Like the sun is right behind that mountain, and you can see it's brightening it up back there. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So that's there, and then, come on, right there. So you can see the sun's really low. So let's just take a guess and say it's 4 o'clock. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. And so that's interesting, right? Because remember, he had gone down to, all the way down to Lewiston and Clarkston. And then at some random time at 5:32, 5:36, his phone pings near Johnson here. And then he doesn't make it back to his house until 8 something. So could have been here at 4 o'clock. Easily. You know? I mean, he easily could have, you know, where was he between like 2 and 5, right? That's crazy. What did you hear on numerous outlets, Jog? You didn't type it in. Let's see. Let me get this. Okay. I've never heard anybody say he was a no-show at work. That's a Monday. So what difference does it make if he wasn't on work at Friday? Yeah, that's right, because the murders happened on, you know, the 13th, but early in the morning on Sunday. And then Monday is when this guy is doing that interview. So I think that's pretty interesting, you guys, what we just... I think there is a chance, because there is a time frame there, that he might have, like, for example, after he... we've gone on... I've actually driven this. So he drove like this. Interestingly, he would have had to drive like that. And then he came up, and then somewhere up here, he turns around, and then he comes back, you know, just a minute later or so, or maybe a minute and a half later, and he comes back this direction, and then from here, he could have easily just went like this. Just the reverse. And as a matter of fact, he did that route. He would do the reverse. So he would come around like this, and then on, I think it's Sunny Avenue, then you take this right here, go on to Conestoga, like that, and then he could have taken a right this time, and then made his way back out to, I guess it would be, he wouldn't have to do that. He would come out there and then immediately take that right onto, well, where's the one that goes up to, it's 195, and that's where Johnson is. So, yeah, so when he came out down here, he could have driven out that reverse way like that, and then made his way back out to Highway 95, and then he's near Johnson over here. Easily could have done that. That's pretty sweet. Right there, huh? All right. Awesome. And by the way, if you're somebody out there that doesn't really watch this channel, if you really want to be somewhere when you're following the Idaho 4 case, this is where you want to be. And the freaks will tell you that. We've gone over this for a long time. I've been there. I have all the timing. I know what it looks like. I know exactly what's going on in the case. You know, the probable cause information that they've got. I know all the little arguments that they're trying to make in terms of the DNA, etc. And I can just tell you this. I have zero doubt in my mind that Bryan Kohberger is the killer. Just like I had zero doubt that Richard Allen was the killer. I mean, I almost have, I mean, I don't know if you could be more or whatever, but they're equal. They're equal. Bryan Kohberger is 100% the killer. Now you're going to say, what about innocent until proven guilty, you bastard? And I'll say, yeah, that's what they told me in the Delphi case. And then as soon as Richard Allen was found guilty by a jury of his peers, they went on and on and on, still talking about how he's innocent. So where's your culpability, you guys? How come you don't cave in once you've been proven wrong? It's pretty wild. Anyways, there we go. I think we were on the... Did we make it to this one yet? 4 University of Idaho students were likely killed with an edged weapon. Investigators think an edged weapon was used in the death of 4 University of Idaho students, police said Tuesday. Officials said all 4 students who were found dead inside a home near campus on Sunday are considered victims in the case. The Moscow Police Department has not said whether investigators have identified any suspects. The Moscow Police Department has labeled the deaths as homicides. Obviously, there's no way... I mean, in a day or two, we'll probably get to the grub truck footage and everything. You know, like, it's not on today's show, though. Today we go... I think we go up until the 16th, actually. The university said Chapin was a freshman. Okay, I mean, a lot of this is repeated stuff. And now, the 15th, this is where we get the interview with...
Kathy, with a C, Mabbitt.
That sucks for audio. Let me fix that. All right, you guys. The audio is going to sound 1,000 times better when I get this fixed for you. See what I do for you guys? My God. And then audio gain, I'll say 8. More than that. All right, here we go.
Kathy, with a C, Mabbitt.
That's right out of a movie or something.
M-A-B-B-U-T-T.
And I'm going to ask you, how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing it for 16 years, and I just got reelected for another 4.
So what is it that, or I guess, when did you get the call on Sunday?
I got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides, but I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first.
Yeah, the guy from Scotland that does shows, he's one of the people that I talk about often. Hey, thanks, Kimmy. He's an embarrassment to the true crime community, who is pretending, but always has a little wishy-washy angle just in case. But he's pretending that Kohberger is being railroaded and all this stuff because that's where conspiracy sells on YouTube. Just like in the Delphi case. If you're covering the Delphi case currently, you're going to have a ton of people watching on your conspiracy theory. If you're not, you're screwed.
Fantastic coverage of this case. Thanks for all you do. Great.
Hey, thanks, Ellie. And thanks there to Tighten Up and Cindy J. Well, Tighten Up. You work out a lot? That's what you're saying. Get in shape. And then we've got K-Me. Thanks, Gray. This is amazing piecing it together. Yeah, it's fun to go back through this. Fantastic coverage of this case. Thanks for all you do, Gray, by Emily Ragusa. Thanks. All right, here we go.
So I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30.
Can you walk us through, like, for our viewers, kind of the process between when police show up and then you guys getting the bodies and doing...
Oh, wait a minute. I think I just screwed up a minute ago in my mind now that I think back. It's a different day that Kohberger is at 5:32 and 5:36. He's on the 13th. So that would be the whole next day that he went there that we're just not aware of. Because that was on the 14th. The 13th at night is when he's driving around by Johnson, Washington. All right, so I think I got that wrong. But see, I don't care if I get a piece of information. Like if I'm wrong, I'll just go, oh yeah, and then we can forget it and move on to something else. But all it means is that the next day he went, hey, it's Karen. And by the way, Karen, I wanted to apologize for the other night. I should have been defending you more when you were being argued with. All right, you've been here a long time, and you deserve better, more respect than that. All right, sorry about that. All right, so it sounds like on the 13th, later in the evening, that's when it was 5:32, 5:36. Then it was the next day that this guy was doing the interview in the evening. So did Kohberger go back on the 14th? You never know. You never know. Yeah. Yes, it was, Karen. I felt bad. All right, so let's just start over on this.
Kathy, with a C, Mabbutt, Mabbutt.
And I'm going to ask you, how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing it for 16 years, and I just got reelected for another 4.
So what is it that, or I guess, when did you get the call on Sunday?
I got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides, but I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first. So I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30.
Can you walk us through, like, for our viewers, kind of the process between when police show up and then you guys getting the bodies and doing your examinations?
Sure. Well, law enforcement goes through and looks for any evidence, takes videos and pictures of everything in there, and they'll start talking with people. So I don't really need to be there for that. They can't move the bodies. I mean, the bodies have to stay as they were until the coroner gets there. So that's what my job is, to look at the bodies.
As a coroner, do you guys do the autopsies and all that?
No, we some do if they're an actual medical examiner, but we have forensic pathologists and we contract with Spokane to do that.
So in your experience, what is it that you saw when you showed up?
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was,
wow,
was
crazy.
It's a very sad scene with 4 murdered college students.
You're ruling all 4 deaths homicides?
Yes.
Okay. And can you give us a manner of death? Yeah.
I believe that the press release was that they were from a sharp object. So
stabbings.
Yeah, I will know more after the autopsies tomorrow.
And do you believe these could be like a murder-suicide or?
No, they're 4 homicides.
4 homicides. Okay. And when it comes to doing the investigation post-autopsy, that falls on you, correct?
Yes. It's my job to determine the manner and mechanism of death.
And then I know with toxicology results, there can often be, at least in Washington, a delay. So do you have any idea how long it could take, if those were relevant, to get any type of results back on that?
Well, the toxicology reports, right, they usually take 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes longer. But they might, I don't think they're going to be relevant in the actual manner or cause of death.
And do we know how long between the time of death and when police found them, approximately?
No, I don't know for sure.
Do we have any, could it have been hours? Could it have been a day? Was it maybe close? Is there any sort of time frame there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, gotcha. And you said the scene was really difficult. I mean, is this something you've had to deal with before in Moscow?
Since I've been coroner, there have been at least 2 other multiple homicide scenes that I've been involved in. So.
Would you say this is probably the most gruesome?
Oh, it's hard to just single it out. It's the only one I've been to where there have been 4 people at one scene. There have been the other ones have had multiple scenes.
And was anybody else injured, like any non-deceased people?
Not that I'm aware of, but I wouldn't necessarily be notified either.
Okay. I didn't know if that was like because the injuries could be similar, it might matter to you.
Oh,
But
right.
no. Okay.
Were the deceased all in close proximity to each other, or were they in different rooms?
I don't know that I can discuss that.
That was gonna be my next question.
What's interesting, she's a little bit like Holman talks, sort of. I mean, it doesn't remind me, I mean, that's the only thing that reminds me is just the way she approaches an answer, kind of. I'm comparing it to the interview he did at the very beginning with Lexus McAdam, that 22-minute video I have of him. Not the one I did. It's different.
I think, yeah.
Will we be able to get a copy of your report once it's concluded? I'm sure it'll be.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just call.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Do you know what the time frame for that would be?
It just depends on how relevant the toxicology report is, but.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So-
so it would like the 4 to 6 weeks.
It could
Okay,
be,
got it.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah,
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty telling, right? Like all the blood and sharp. I mean, I think she would have answered more questions if there was just one person in there. Like, it seems like she was getting close to saying something. Alright. Oh, then I do have some newspapers.com versions. Look at this. It's pretty cool, right? Ugh. And look at that picture. That's right through the sliding glass door. Police give limited details after a student found dead. Moscow police investigated the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students at the campus and greater community, mourned what the city mayor described Monday as sobering reminder, this is on the 15th, that senseless acts of violence can occur anywhere. Publicly released details remain limited Monday. The student's death at a home just off campus shocked the city of about 26,000, nearly half of it made up of the University of Idaho student body. Police responded Sunday afternoon to a report of an unconscious individual at a property in the 1100 block of King Road. It's 1122 King Road. The city department said when officers arrived just before noon Pacific time, they found 4 people dead. The university put out a statement saying the deaths were being treated as a suspected homicide. Looks like, I don't know if this is, I mean, it's in the paper on this day, but it sounds like, let me try A3. That's where it continues. Okay. They are asking us to stand by pending the investigation. That's the property management people. I think this might be similar to that one article we read that was also in the Statesman, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Yeah, those are the same. Okay, then we have this. I might actually, let's just make a new sequence and put it in here. And see, it could, just in case the audio sucks, then I can fix it right away. Which photos? Now it looks like it starts right here. This is the first press conference. I think it'd be cool to listen to that again, don't you think? It's a little bit longer, but, you know. We got that, and then one more article, and that'll be the first night. All right. Part 1.
My name is Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. I'm going to be reading from my note. I want the information you received to be extremely accurate. We know you have questions, and so do we. That is why we're here.
This is on the 15th.
I'd like to thank everyone for attending this press conference.
16th, excuse me.
Joining me today is the Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson, University of Idaho President Scott Green, Provost and Vice President Tori Lawrence, University of Idaho Dean of Students Blaine Eccles, Latah County Sheriff Richie Skiles, Chief Deputy of Latah County Tim Best, Idaho State Police Colonel Kedrick Wilson. I'd like to extend our condolences.
No, 2024, Cindy. Jesus.
To all family members, friends, the University of Idaho, and the Moscow community.
I just said at the beginning, I'm going through the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th of when this happened, of November, 2022, obviously.
This was a horrible crime that took the lives of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen,
oh my God,
and Kaylee Goncalves. This horrible University of Idaho, our community, our country, and our officers. Agencies that are involved in this task force include Latah County Sheriff's Office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. As we continue our investigation, we have learned that Ethan and Xana were at a party on campus, and Madison and Kaylee were at a downtown bar. They arrived home sometime after 1:45. If anyone in our community or across our nation has any information about these times or the victims' whereabouts, please call our tip line at 208-883-7180. The facts of the case that we know right now. We know that these homicides occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. Around noon, Moscow officers received a call of an unconscious person. Officers discovered the bodies of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Goncalves inside the residence on King Road. The four were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time. There was no sign of forced entry into the residence. Investigators are continuing to collect evidence at the scene. Investigators are working to develop a timeline.
All right, guys, check it out. We're only $10 away from a goal, the low end of the goal, but $60 away from me giving away the 5 memberships. So that's the closest we've been in a while. So that'd be cool, you guys. That'd be cool.
To relevant events. Autopsies are taking place today on all the victims so we can continue to gather evidence and solve the crime. Investigators are working to follow up on all leads and to identify a person of interest. Based on details at the scene, we believe this was an isolated, targeted attack on our victims. We do not have a suspect at this time, and that individual is still out there. We cannot say that there's no threat to the community, and as we have stated, please stay vigilant, report any suspicious activity, and be aware of your surroundings at all times. What we don't know,
Hey,
the
thanks,
identity
Bertie.
and location of the suspect. The location of the knife or any clothing that was worn by the suspect.
Oh, look at that. We got Birdie 284 and Curtis Wrecking Crew West.
Thank you.
Now we're just 40 away from the 5 memberships.
Suspect. Currently, we have 25 plus investigators working this case, as well as assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Idaho State Police. We're reviewing video that has been collected, but we are asking citizens to contact us with any information you may have that will help in this investigation. Once again, we're asking anyone with a to call the tip line at 208-883-7180. At this time, I would like to introduce the University of Idaho President, Scott Green.
Thank you, Chief Fry. I'm Scott Green, President of the University of Idaho, and with me is Tori Lawrence. He's our Provost, and Blaine Eccles, our Dean of Students, will be available for questions after all of the statements are made. The crime, to us, this crime and the loss of these young lives is just simply beyond comprehension. While our small community is certainly not immune to such things, it's not a situation our close-knit campus is used to dealing with.
In a couple months.
First, my deepest condolences to the families.
It's like he's upset. I've been on Court TV multiple times for this case. Loops that it made, or passes they call it. So when the Elantra makes the... We'll find out this later. I'm going to go through this in order. So like tomorrow's I can probably speak something. We're going to go through that probably like the 17th, 18th, 19th. Then we'll do the 20th, 21st, 22nd. Like that. In order, just to kind of get that feel of what, and we through that, and then finally the probable cause documents released, and then that's where it all just kind of comes together, right? So you guys should be here for that, because once we get through all this, you'll be an expert in the case, and you'll be on the right side of the information. All the stuff that these other people throw out there on a daily basis is just to find. So I've had nothing to cover in the case other than when they do different hearings, but other than that, there's nothing, right? So, but whenever you come up with a conspiracy and pretend that the state's got it all wrong and it's somebody else, then man, you are wide open to tons and tons of content, right? Because now you can just come up with a different theory on a daily basis and pretend. You can start going after Dylan Mortensen. You can start going after all these other people, trying to pretend there's something else going on. And that's kind of how it works. It's wild. Hey, thanks, James Long. And they're showing some support. Well, there you go. Thank you. I keep stopping it sometimes, though. If it's freezing, I don't know if it's your computer's clocking out or what.
And friends of Ethan, Kaylee, Xana, and Madison. Excuse me. Their loss has been devastating, and they were bright lights in our community and are deeply missed and remain in our thoughts and our prayers. We've been working with Moscow police since we were notified on Sunday of the crime. We've helped when asked and continually pushed for information whenever possible, knowing that we cannot interfere with the important work and good investigations that are occurring. We just want justice for these victims. Our focus at the university is to support our students and our employees. We are encouraging students and employees to take care of themselves as we head into Thanksgiving break.
Hey, you guys, it might just be your internet speed, so dial down the clarity. So if you have it at 720, make it that, turn it down to like 340 or something like that. That might be the issue.
I want to take a moment to commend our faculty and staff who have been on the front lines helping our students, whether that is providing counseling to those in need of support, accommodating those who want to travel home, or engaging those who find comfort in staying busy interacting with their peers and our instructors in class. Our employees stepped up when our students needed them. While we have relied heavily on the expertise of Moscow Police, we feel confident that remaining open with flexibility to leave allows our students to decide what is best for them.
You hit the gears underneath the video. There's a little gear thing. Right below the video, there's like a gear box. You know, it looks like a cogwheel or something. You click on that, and then you can change the settings, I think. Is that how it works? Let me see.
Seconds or...
Yeah, that's how you do it. And then... like some videos don't have a choice. Weirdly. All right, check it out, man. Only 35 away from me giving away 5 memberships. All right.
The weeks ahead will continue to challenge us as this loss and the circumstances around this crime become known.
And that can be in the form of memberships or super chats.
We will support each other as we grieve, and we'll move through this together as a Vandal family. Thank you.
I would like to have Colonel Kedrick Wills come to the podium, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Kedrick Wills. I serve as the director of the Idaho State Police.
For me, it's under the
And as we have this discussion today, I'd like to express my appreciation for your attendance here, because it's important, vitally important, that we get the information that we have out to the public. Crime knows no boundaries, and these murders have shaken us to our very core. You heard the university president as well as the chief of police talk about this small community, and it's a very close, tight-knit community. And our hearts break for the families that lost their loved ones, the University of Idaho, the Moscow community, and even within our entire state. Be assured, the Idaho State Police is firmly in support of the work that the Moscow Police Department is doing, and we are providing every resource that we can to make sure that this comes to a conclusion, and that the person or people that this is responsible are brought to justice. It's so important that you understand that this takes a team effort. This is teamwork with the university, with this Moscow City Police Department, the Latah County Sheriff's Office.
I think we have to like stop. We say, hey, we're closing it down. We give some time to close it down. I'll communicate with the lady. I don't have any idea. This is about the time of last year, right? Remember it was April or something?
The Idaho State Police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It takes everybody to be able to do this. And it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act of getting the community the information that they need to have with making sure that we provide a case that the Latah County Prosecutor's Office can go forward with. Governor Little, Idaho's governor, full weight of all the resources we have within our state are available to Chief Fry and to his team. Our crime lab is also involved with processing evidence, and our law enforcement throughout the region, state and federal agencies continue to provide resources. From the Idaho State Police's perspective, we provided detectives here from this area, as well as detectives from out of the area, state police detectives, as well as patrol resources and communications assistance as well to provide for Chief Fry and his team. Following this briefing, our communications director from the Idaho State Police, Aaron Snell, if you'd raise your hand, Aaron, he will be the contact for all press media inquiries from here on out. He'll be working closely with Chief Fry and his team. And we have additional, like I said, additional patrol and investigation resources brought to bear here as well. We want to do everything we can to make sure that this is done correctly and that the people that are responsible for this are brought to justice.
So at this time, I'm going to open it up to some questions that I'm sure you have, and we'll do the best we can to answer those for you.
Hello, Chief Ray.
Hello.
Thank you for having us. I'm Amanda Rowley with Creme 2 News. You mentioned that there's an indication that it's an isolated, targeted incident, and there is an individual somewhere. Can you give us a reason as to why there's that belief there is a suspect? And you also give a little more information on the forced entry. There's no sign of forced entry, but was the door, did it seem like any of the entries were left unlocked by any means?
Well, because we know it's not a murder-suicide. So.
I'll answer the last part there just because it's at the front end of my mind. We're not 100% sure if the door was unlocked, but there was no damage to anything, and the door was still open when we got there.
28.
And my first question, if you'd like me to read.
No, I think I haven't. These.
All right, Alley Cake's going for a wave. At the end of the show, we need 28 more for the 5 free memberships. And then as soon as I get my box of all that stuff, we'll have a prize. If you win, like during the show, if people donate like we used to do, if they do like $5 or more, every $5 you get a wedge of a wheel spin. And then at the end of the show, we'll spin, and you might win the actual full notebook package. So that'd be cool.
Cases, we take the totality of the things that we see, and they're very dynamic, right? And they're very.
I think I don't know how they knew it was isolated because it's still there's no information still that says it. I mean, you look at it and you go, yeah, he killed them, but you wouldn't know based on that if I guess it's just like. The amount of damage he did in that house, to them, they think it was passion and it was targeted, so it's likely not going to go somewhere else.
Very big, and there's a lot of information, and we try to take that information, and some of it we can't share with you, correct? But we try to take that information, we try to make the best educated decision we can. We review that as a team with our detectives, along with our prosecutors, along with the university, and we try to make that best decision on that. So we, at that time, believe that there was no a threat, and our goal is to provide safety for this community. That's why we're.
Wow, thanks, Linda. I think we're close, right? I mean, what is this? 1:30. I think my math just went out the window. Okay, 28, 26, 21, 7.
I'll do Chewbacca if you want.
I think we're like $5 short still, something like that.
Bringing in the resources we're bringing, we want a close to this, and we want to do everything we can to let the people in our community know that we care. We want them to feel safe. We want them to be safe, and we're going to do everything we can to do that.
And if I could add one more question. You asked for videos or anything from the community to help put together that timeline. We obtained a copy of Twitch video, and family members of the Goncalves family were able to identify Maddie and Kaylee in those videos at a food truck ordering food.
Oh, yeah,
is the police department, our investigators, aware of that video?
Hey, does anybody have the actual link to the Twitch videos still? I'm sure they're out there. Can you send me the link to that? It's the grub truck video. I recorded the videos, but I could only find one of the angles recently. Hey, thanks, Curtis Wrecking Crew West. There we go. Okay, here we go. And here we go. Gifting memberships. So who's going to get lucky? Who's going to get lucky tonight? Sure as hell ain't me. I'm just kidding. There we go. Toy Airy, Julie Cole, Sees Through, Phil Bond, and Maribel 9. All right.
Oh, and And has it helped put together that timeline?
We are aware of that video, and it has helped. It gives us a time and space where we know that 2 of our victims were, and that helps us a ton, and we'll continue to follow up all leads that we can.
Yeah, so 2 of the victims are over at the Sigma Chi house. It's kind of interesting now to listen, knowing what we know that they knew, you know.
And continue to gather those.
Any indication of a party at the home that night?
This will be the last one, okay, I understand. Not that we know of, not at the home. We know that the other, let me get the names exactly right here. We know that Xana and Ethan were at a different party on campus. But that timeline will still help us if other people know about that.
Thank you.
Chief Wright, John Webb with KHQ. On September 12th, there was a vandal alert that was sent out.
And let me just say thank you up there to, it was Linda Howe, Curtis Wrecking Crew West, gifted a membership, then Karen, Georgina Stoliker, Moofies, and then Curtis Wrecking Crew West, Curtis Wrecking Crew West again, and then Sandy Shirley. Then I was able to get the 5 memberships.
About a potential stabbing threat on Paradise Path. Does this have any connection with what we've seen so far?
Not that we know of it, but we're following up every lead. Every piece of information we get, we are following up to ensure that nothing has...
Remember there was that other stabbing death, like I think it was a guy or something like that.
Gone unturned. We want to have the individual identified, who is the suspect of this eventually. So we are literally looking into every aspect of everything.
And you guys have said repeatedly that there's no threat to the public, but we don't know who the suspect is. We don't know where he's at. How is there no threat to the public at this point?
Well, that's kind of an unknown. Like I said, we took the information that we had at the time, but we do need to be aware the individual is still out there, right? We need to be vigilant. We need to watch out for our neighbors. We're a community policing community. We've said that for years, and it's a community that watches out for each other. We need to continue to do that until we can close this off and make an arrest.
Why has there been such limited information over the past couple of days? I mean, we're almost 4 days into this. Why has it been so limited?
Yeah, it's a difficult, we have a lot of information coming in, and, you know, we have tried to push out some information through press releases. But the reality is, I probably should have been standing here a day or so ago, but I'm here now. We're going to continue to be here. We're going to continue to give you the information we can. We care about this community. I care about this community. I've worked here for 27 years. I want this community to be the safest community around. So
the mayor's called it a crime of passion. Is there any indication that that's true?
We're looking into every aspect of this. I'm not going to stipulate whether it's one thing or another. We're going to continue to investigate until we have the facts, because really it's the facts that will drive what the cause of this is. And as we gather evidence, we'll get that. So. Okay.
One last question, if I could, Chief. Have we looked at any boyfriends or any ex-boyfriends, any spouses as a potential suspect?
I will tell you, we are looking at everyone. Every tip we get, every lead we get, there's no one that we're not going to talk to. There's no one we're not going to interview. There's no one that we're not going to look into. And we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to make sure that nothing goes unturned. Do everything we can with the assistance of all the resources we have to get a final answer.
Thanks, Chief Wright.
So there were, sorry, I'm Emma Epperly with the Spokes Interview. Hi. So there were other roommates who lived at that residence. Were the roommates home at the time of the attack?
There was other people home at that time, but we're not just focusing just on them. We're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
And then they didn't call it into police, so were they injured?
They were not injured, but like I said, we're still following up with everybody that could have been in that area.
And how can you say it's a targeted attack if you don't have a suspect?
Like I said, we take the totality of the situation. We try to make the best bit of information we can with everything that comes in, and then we make our decision off of that. So at this time, I'm not going to expand upon that. But like I've said, we do have out somewhere, and we are looking for that individual to solve this.
Hi, Rachel Sun, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I just want to clarify something you said earlier. Over the past couple of days, the information that we've been getting is there's not a threat to the public. And earlier I heard you say you can't be assured that there is no threat. I just want to clarify what your stance is on that at this time.
So we still believe it's a targeted attack, but the reality is there's still out there who committed 4 horrible crimes. So I think we got to go back to there is a threat out there still, possibly. We don't know. We don't believe it's going to be to anybody else, but we all have to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're watching out for each other.
Okay, and then one other follow-up. I know you said when the call came in, it was for an unconscious person, and also that was a stabbing. It seems, just from an outside perspective looking in, like that would be not the first thing a person calling in would think.
You're right. But the report that we got was that it was an unconscious individual. It wasn't until our officers arrived on scene, went in to do caregiving check on the individual who was unconscious, that we found the scene that we found.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked. So the other 2 roommates were there at the time of the attack?
Yeah. All the information that we have from our investigation is that, yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there. So, we don't know why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night. Would have we loved for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
Were they one of the people?
I found the grub truck area, but I don't know which video it is. On Twitch. It's on Twitch, grub truckers. That's still filming exactly in the same spot. They keep doing the same exact place. It's pretty weird.
Were they the 911 caller?
At this point in time, I'm not going to divulge who our 911 caller is, just because I want to keep the...
Who were, Cindy? Who were your suspects? I mean, I remember thinking that, I had a theory that Kaylee's, boyfriend at the time may have something to do with it, just because of the situation that was going on. I didn't put his name or anything. I just said the boyfriend. But, the very next day they cleared him, so I forget it. Hey, good night, Karen. What notebook? Did you let me know about the notebook? What do you mean? Let's see. Did you send in? We do the notebook. If you send 30 in on PayPal, you get the notebook, the pen, the stress ball, the poker chip, and the notebook. It's got the new logo on it.
Integrity of the investigation at this point, okay?
Okay. And last question, are you able to tell whether the same weapon was used on all 4 victims?
That's why we're having the autopsies done. The autopsy will confirm that and hopefully collect some evidence for us, even from those. That's why you do the autopsies, is to try to be thorough and try to gather more. So we'll leave that would probably be something that would come out later.
Okay.
Excuse me, Derek Shug, Fox News Digital. Was there anything missing in the home, or were the purses still there? Any robbery attempt, anything like that?
Nothing that we have identified. And I'm going to take about 2 more questions, all right?
Hi, I'm Tim with the Daily Evergreen. I was just wondering, were the 2 other individuals present at the home when police responded at noon?
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, if you don't mind elaborating a bit more on those two people. Was it two people? What have those people shared about the circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
Well, I'm not going to go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So as far as that goes, we're not going to go any further into what they know and what they don't know.
How many were there?
We believe two.
Chief, have you looked into the social media accounts of all the different?
Yeah, what was that?
Go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our
individuals present at the home when police responded at noon.
Yes.
Yes. Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk.
Okay.
Chief, if you don't mind elaborating a bit more on those two people. Was it two people? What have those people shared about the circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
Well, I'm not going to go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So as far as that goes, we're not going to go any further into what they know and what they don't know.
How many were there?
We believe two.
Chief, have you looked into the social media accounts of all the different victims? Do you? We understand that one may have had an account linked to her Instagram account. Have you looked into those accounts? Have you seen any sort of threats made to any of the individuals?
So we are looking at all resources. You know, we got, like I said, the Federal Bureau of Investigation helping us. We got our detectives, our forensic detectives looking into that. We're trying to pull this whole picture. We're looking at everything that we can look at, social media, etc. So to answer your question, yes, we are.
Were the victims all found in one part of the house?
I'm not going to divulge that either. That's part of our investigation. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close this off. But if you have any questions for the university, we'll open that up at this point in time.
Who has not had a chance to ask a question? Yes, over here.
Me?
Here and then here.
Oh, thanks. Actually, I had a question for the chief, so I don't know.
Okay, well, you want to pass it?
Okay. What is the university doing to make their students feel safe?
Yeah, great question. At this time, I think I'll turn this over to Blaine, who's been dealing directly with our students and dealing with those that truly still feel unsafe despite some of the assurances and things that we're doing. Blaine?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question. A question of safety is on everyone's mind right now. We have increased campus safety patrols. Our executive director of campus safety and security, Jake Nichols, is out of the way actually here, and so I'm sure he'd be able to answer some of those questions. We have a campus safety escort where students can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to arrange for a security escort to be escorted across campus during the day or night. It doesn't matter at any point in time. We're also providing resources to students to help them navigate through this from an emotional standpoint. We've had drop-in counseling that has been utilized both in our counseling center as well as the student union building. And we're also supporting students, like President Green indicated, that if they want to leave and go home now, they absolutely can. We're going to support them in doing so. Many students have questions about their academics and whatnot, but this is a very dynamic, fluid situation, and we want to make sure we're supporting students and their families to get through this the way that they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Washington State University is about 8 miles that way. What would you suggest that Wazoo does to make their students feel safe if they're unsafe?
Communication and encouraging students to reach out and use resources. That's a fantastic campus. I talked to their Dean of Students office yesterday, and they are mobilizing their support resources. All campuses have supports in place. Students just need to make sure they're leaning in and reaching out to it. And many times students don't, but we encourage that, absolutely.
Hi, this is Hadia Thark with the Argonaut. This may be a question for Scott Green or Blaine Eccles. So with the decision to cancel classes on Monday, while I understand the university is trying to remain flexible for students, why has class not been canceled for the remainder of the week?
Well, because a number of our students still want to go to class. They gain comfort in being around their other students. They gain comfort from interacting and staying busy with their faculty and attending classes, labs. Some are working on their semester projects. So we've heard from them. At the same time, we want to provide the ability for any student who did not feel comfortable staying around, who did not want, who was unable to process that way, that they had that opportunity to go, and we've been helping them as well. All these absences are excused. We've asked our faculty to work with those students who chose to go, so we felt this was the best way, to respond, to give as much flexibility as we could to our students and our faculty to help manage the situation. And frankly, I think they've done a very, very good job. Thank you.
Is the university working with the parents or the families of the victims? Are you in touch with them?
They are. I'll turn that back over to Blaine. I know we both have been in contact with the families, but he's been very close to it. And so, Blaine, you want to take that question?
Absolutely. One of the hardest jobs I have is talking to parents of students who have died. It's the absolute worst part of my job. And so I've reached out and made contact with all the families. We've offered our support, and we're going to stay in constant contact with them. I communicated with them almost every day. We usually give it a little space and time before we reach out, just for the sheer shock of absorbing the loss of a child and what that looks like. But we're going to stay in support of them moving forward for the.
Good night, Kami, and thanks for that video clip earlier. And thanks for your super chats.
For the weeks and months to come, and in whatever capacity they need.
We've talked to a few of them, and they've expressed some frustration with the lack of communication from investigators and from the officials involved on that side of it. Has the university heard that from them? How are you working with them to help kind of close that communication gap?
Sure. I do know that Captain Barrett from the Moscow Police Department is also in constant contact with them. He reaches out to them on a regular basis. From that standpoint, I think it's safe.
Let's see if anybody, like one of the officials, get back up again. These guys are just political,
Not connected in any way to this.
Hold on.
Of our campus community at that time. I don't have the specific date, but it's out there from that aspect of it. And it's my understanding that individual then later turned himself into law enforcement, and they've addressed what that happens.
So it's not connected.
Oh, that's right. There was some other.
That's a question for law enforcement.
You know who he is.
Number 12. I know about the incident. I don't know the individual because he did not turn. He's not affiliated with the university. So my understanding, he turned himself into law enforcement. So I can't answer the question of whether he's connected with this or not.
So we want to thank you again for coming. That's going to be all the questions we take at this time. We appreciate you coming and spending time with us, and we will continue to put out information as we have time. And we want to reassure the community that the Moscow Police Department and everybody works will do everything we can. We love this community. We've a lot of us have went to the University of Idaho, and
you know who would play that guy in a movie, except he's not an actor? The guy from pawn shops or pawn whatever the guy. I don't know if he's an actor or not, but the guy from is it Pawn Star? I don't remember what the hell the show is.
We are vandals, and we will do everything we can to solve.
Yeah, Rick. There you go, Rick. Yeah, that's
you.
the guy. All right, so we have that, and then the final thing for today is whatever this. Oh wait, that didn't pick up. So I think that was it for. That's all we had for the 16th. I mean, obviously we just heard what they were going to say. So then what we'll do for tomorrow, if there's, I think we'll do a show tomorrow. Like we'll do the 17th. You guys think this is interesting? I think it's kind of, it's interesting to go back just to kind of see, all these different elements and things that are going on. The different interviews outside the home, the theories that people had early on. We got to hear from the medical examiner, the first press conference, and then we'll just keep going through it. Are you guys all interested in this? How about you, Random Bogey and Melody Silman? Are you interested in this? Yeah, Pawn Stars. That's what I wanted to call it, but I wasn't sure. Because there's another one. Was it Pawn War? There's another guy with, remember the guy with the glasses? I wasn't sure if that was the same. All right, because we're just going to go all the way through this, and then eventually we'll get to the probable cause again. And then we also have, there's 2 days of hearings coming up that I think are, I believe on the 21st, they have a closed hearing, and then if I'm not mistaken, isn't it like the 23rd and 24th actual hearings again? Do you guys know the dates of those? Maybe you could tell me. Let's see. I think there was a document. I actually have it. Hold on a second. We go to this Idaho website here. Scroll down. Kohberger. I think it's the last. I mean, have you ever seen any more documents than that? Hearing notice. Okay, so it says on January 21st at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, the court will hold a closed hearing. And then it says right here, should the various motions set, hold on. If any and under that, what circumstances, let me just read the whole thing. Why it's so small. Unseal materials related to its request to suppress evidence stemming from the investigative genetic genealogy DNA and consider what portions, if any, and under what circumstances should the various motions set to be heard on January 23rd and 24th be open to the public either live or by video. The clerk will provide a video link to the attorneys of record who request a link and to the Ada County Jail so that the defendant may appear. So it sounds like open to the public is 23rd and 24th perhaps. So that should be pretty interesting. All right. Well, very cool. So I think that's going to be it for tonight, you guys. Put a 1 if you thought it was an interesting show. And also hit that like button too. That's pretty easy. But I also want to Cheryl, Death by Chocolate, and Maxine for the Buy Me a Coffee. Then we also had today 2 notebook orders. Patrick, I think it's, I'll just say Patrick L. and then Vicky White. So we got 2 notebooks. And then also on here we have, hey, thanks, Random Bogey. That is a random bogey. Then we have Ducky, Super Soda. Let me do it over here. It's easier. I'll do it like this. Ducky. Look at that duck. Super Soda. She's been around forever. And then Tony Nelson became a YouTube member. K-Me. So glad we're covering this ahead of the hearing. Then we have Vicky White. And then Alley Cake. Then Whoev, Whatev. Then Stacy Pittman. Ducky again. Then Ozzy Trisha, High Grade, Mods and Freaks. Hope you're all doing well. Been crook for a month, but hope to be back soon. I do hit the like button daily. Then right after that, she gifted 5 memberships. Very kind. Then we have Richard Watts. Then Birdie 284, 11 months. Then we have Richard Watts. I think I redid his. And then Monica Reeves, Alley Cake, Jessica Schubach. This is when I was in prison. I got some ramen. I got bail money from Alley Cake and Jessica Schubach. and KR. And then we got some commissary. Then Snickers bar. We had ramen up there by Alley Cake. And then Jessica Schubach, a bit more bail. And then Georgina Stoliker with a pie. And then Zozo was trying to get me to strip search up there. And then we got bail again by Alley Cake. And then Supa Soda. And then Rhea Mazzarone, cake with a file in it. And then a super sticker. And then another file. So I think that one goes in the pie that came up earlier. And then Cindy J, what did you say? Maddie, what did you say to Adam? I've got that one. But I'm telling you guys, if you can find I think it's out there on Twitch. You just type in Grubhubbers and you go back in time. I think that one's out there. And then we have Tighten Up with a cat eye donation. And K-Me. And she said, this is amazing, piecing it together. Yep. Then Emily Ragusa, fantastic coverage of this case. Thank you for all you do, Gray. Well, thank you. Karen, hi, Gray. Hi, Freaks. Then we've got Birdie284. Then we've got Curtis Wrecking Crew West. Then James Long showing some support. Then KR gifted a membership. Then we have Alley Cake, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Hey, look at that. It's Frank Meister. And then Karen, Georgina Stoliker. This is our last, that little push to try to get to the 5 memberships. Moofies, Curtis Wrecking Crew West, Sandy Shirley. Then I gifted the 5 memberships. As promised. Then Random Bogey, right there at the end. And it says, fart. I guess that's what that means. Like you're sitting there and you just you fart or something and it's a random bogey. Okay. Makes sense. Let's see. All right. Yeah, it's 12:01 over there. But that's it, you guys. Thank you all very much for being here. And thanks for helping reach the goal tonight. Felt good to reach a goal again. And I appreciate all your support. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what timing of all the different, it's hard to get people to show up when you got an inauguration and all kinds of stuff going on tomorrow, but we'll figure out a time. Maybe it'll be a little later in the evening or something. I don't know. We'll just figure it out. But we got to keep on trucking. Now that we've started this, we got to get all the way through it. Of course, we likely won't get all the way through it before the hearing, but the hearing will just be something. Maybe we talk about what the hearing was going to be about again, and then. Maybe tomorrow's show, and then there'll be a hearing, I think, the next day, and then there's a 2-day hearing that's televised that we'll go over live. All right, so thanks everybody. We will see you guys tomorrow. All right, and let's see what the dogs are doing. Well, there's Benny. If you take Clancy out of there, she has, I say she because Benny has the highest pitch bark in the world. I think if you had a certain type of glass in your house, it would just explode. I mean, it's just wild. If you take Clancy out and you're sitting on that couch across from her, she just looks at you and goes, bah, bah. Yeah, we just keep them in they're not potty trained yet. So, I mean, they are pretty good. They pee on a mat that's in there with them. So we're just kind of waiting and plus, Gracie's not a year old yet, and none of these 2 dogs are a year old yet, so they haven't been fixed yet. So if we were let them to run around the house, they'd probably breed with one another because, I mean, these Clancy and Benny are pretty much almost porno dogs. They're just like all day. They're just yeah. So Gracie is. Wait, isn't she? I guess she's not fixed yet either. She's only like 7 or 8 months old. So I guess that's what we're. But I bet you Benny and Gracie would be kind of a cute dog. Would the freaks want a puppy out there? if that should happen, any freaks want to? Yeah, that's right, Okinawa. I mean, look at that. They are pretty cute, though. I'm starting to like Gracie and I get along a lot better now. You know why? Because she's jealous as hell. If I pet one of these two dogs, Gracie, who's ignored the living crap out of me, runs up and goes, "Hey, Gray, yay!" You know, scratching my legs, make sure to pet, rolls over on her back so I can scratch her belly. You know, but before these dogs, screw you. You know. Can you hear that? Way through the walls. Probably not. Must be something going on over there, though. You know what's interesting about these two dogs is there was another one named Mac, but it had this crazy tooth problem. And Mac was the brother of Benny in the same... Oh, Jesus. In the same... Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, God. I gotta get it out of here. Jesus. How do I flip it off of here? I told you. Anyways, Benny... Benny and this dog named Mac, they're in the same litter. However, when the... Clancy was in a month later, he was born. And so they all just kind of hung out together, even though they're really tiny little puppies, so they're like buddies. Yeah, that was on cue. Let me dare to go back. Okay. I need to get, you know what I need is like certain music playing. I guess it could be whenever they're doing that, like... Right? It's vanilla. Yeah, that's what it is. It's long-haired chihuahua. Oh, yeah. Well, is the address correct in PayPal there, Random Bogey? So, thank you. Did you send it already? I didn't see it. I don't think it's in to me yet, anyways. I don't see it in there. Did you say you sent it yet or when you send it? Yeah, if you send it, make sure your address is... You can just put it in the note, or... A lot of times it's just already there. Yeah, the address is usually... If you haven't changed your address and that's the same address that's in PayPal, it should work. So, all right, cool. I'm going to be just putting everybody on a list up here, and then once I get the shipment of the notebooks and the chips, or the poker chips, I'll send them off. All right. So thank you guys, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys later. This is like their song now, I think.
Yeah, I've been doing this.
And that song does fit
quite a
there.
while now.
It doesn't it?
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector Conflict rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gregor's gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector. Food reflector, interceptor, and I need a little spectre with a vector on his vector. With all respect, y'all, just remember
I have a temper fucking
projection. I have no agenda, I'm a pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without a blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.